Hi, I'm Delit, and I want to share my love of cross stitch with you today. I have the magazine Cross Stitch Needlework to show you. This is from August 2000, so it's a vintage issue. This magazine is no longer in print, I don't believe. And let's go ahead and look at the cover design. So this sampler gives you a place to put the name of the married couple and their date, and then has a little phrase down at the bottom. So this Cross Stitch and Needlework is a Better Homes and Gardens magazine, and they do a really nice job on the magazine. High quality paper, full color pictures, and full color uh, patterns, which is kind of standard now, but was not for like back in the 80s when it was Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. That's what the magazine was before for a long time, and then it turned into Cross Stitch and Needlework. It continued being Cross Stitch and Needlework even when it was no longer Better Homes and Gardens. It got bought by Bayview Publishing, and they continued to publish Cross Stitch and Needlework under the same name, excuse me, but was just a different publisher. So we'll look at a couple of those issues in another video. Back to our March, did I say August? It's March, April 2000 issue, so it's their spring issue. We'll first look at the table of contents. So even though this table of contents only has 3 pictures of different projects, the pictures are really big and give you a good idea of what kind of project it is that they're providing, and it helps you make up your mind whether you like the style of designs offered in the magazine, or if they match your ability level or what you feel like you want to be stitching, and I really like that. Then they have their letter from the editor. The basic idea here, she explains why they have a feature on quilting in here. They have a project that has a quilted border, and so they teach you some basics of quilting in this magazine as well. This is called Cross Stitch and Needlework. So they don't just have cross stitch designs, and they don't just have the kind of like other kinds of projects like Hardanger that are very similar to cross stitch, but they have some of the needlework that's a little more different, like quilting. And so they have the very next thing they have in the magazine is about quilting, and so it's teaching you some things like doing the quilted border for the project in the magazine, what you need to know to be able to do that. And it continues on the next page. I do think most people that want to do quilting are going to buy a quilting magazine, but there are people who just do really basic quilting, small projects in quilting where they only need to know a few things like this. Maybe people who cross stitch or do needlepoint or something, and they want to be able to include, like, combine the two crafts together to make a really cute item. And so having this in this magazine is all they would need. They don't necessarily need to go out and buy a book or a magazine on quilting. Nowadays, you can just watch a video or look it up on the internet. It's true. But it is nice to have something like this where you don't always have to be online. And when the internet is down, you still have that information. I'm not going to show you all of the designs in this particular issue of the magazine, but I am going to show you a few different things. So this is a cosmetics bag, and they've stitched this design and then just sewn it onto the cosmetics bag. And I really love the alphabet, which I'm not going to show you the pattern. I typically don't show the charts simply out of, I'm not sure where it's out of print. Maybe it's okay, but I'm not sure that that is okay because of the designer maybe having the copyright. That doesn't matter if the magazine's out of print. So we'll just look at this a little closer. And so you have your pretty flowers and then your capital letters that you can use to personalize things. If you want to do the whole design, you can, or you can just use the alphabet, which I love and wish I could show you all the other pretty letters, but just trust me that they're all just as pretty as the capital E. They give you instructions on how to make the cosmetics bag, but again, it's really simple. You just sew it onto the cosmetics bag. You have to unzip it to put it over the arm, obviously. Okay, I'm sure you understand sewing well enough for me to not explain the most simple thing that just occurred to me, the image of someone sewing their cross stitch with the cosmetics bag zipped up. Tragic. Okay, I really love this design. This is Barry's box, and it has some specialty stitches, and it has metallic floss and silk floss, and it's just a really adorable little design. They give you stitch diagrams for the embroidery stitches that are not cross stitch. I mean, I guess you could call it cross stitch. Some of it, they're just variations on cross stitch. They're not just your basic X, but more complicated or even simpler versions. But it does have barrier and faggot stitch, which are not cross stitch. And then they usually give you the instructions on how to put it on a box if you want to do that instead of framing it. I also really like this design. The design itself is kind of simple. I just really love the phrase, and the design is charming enough to go with the phrase. And it says, "Richer than I, you can never be, for I had a mother who read to me." And it's a phrase that I've seen before. I think I've even seen another version of a cross-stitch design with that phrase. And it may not even be my favorite version of it, but I do like it, and I think it would be nice to stitch. I'm also going to show you this project. Um, this is kind of an unusual shape for a project, but they give you the instructions on how to make this lace top to go on the basket. They're also going to tell you how to finish this in this way to put it around a basket. So if that's something that you wanted to do, they give you the instructions on how to do it. So I kind of need to cover up our pattern. And then it continues on this page. Look at the project again. Then we have one of my favorite features in a Cross Stitch magazine, the designer profile. So she has some really lovely designs. I think they're really cute and elegant as well. I especially love the design up here with the flowers and the birds. Kind of a more old-fashioned look to it. And then we have the article continues on the next page. And here's the designs that they are providing in this magazine. This is a tea cozy, which is really beautiful. I don't use a tea cozy because I don't put my tea in a teapot like that. I just pour it in the cup and give it to my mother, and she doesn't drink it right away. So it would be nice to have something that kept it hot for her, but they don't make a cup-sized cozy. So I probably wouldn't make that project. But they do have a tablecloth and napkins. I would like that. And this is pretty. If you could stitch it as a pillow, I might do something like a pillow or a framed piece. I'm just not interested in the cozy. But they do give instructions on how to make each of the projects. And if you wanted to make a tea cozy, they have those instructions in here. Um, and so go. Since this just is a strip of the design, we're not going to worry about that. And they also are giving you instructions on the napkins and the tablecloth. Over here they do the tablecloth. Let's take another look at our cover design in case this picture's a little clearer. Now this is the project that you do the quilted border for, so let's have a look at that. And they also show how you can use some of the floral motifs to make coasters. And then here are the instructions on how to do this. And they give you some really nice tips down here called needle tips that people have written in and shared with their with the other readers. So you could write in and share your tip, which a lot of times people find online on chat groups and blogs and things like that now. They also have here a cross stitch basics for someone just getting started in cross stitch, and which, yeah, we'll just look at that. And then they have a very small buying guide at the back of the magazine. And then there's this advertisement that I wanted to show you. DMC for a while off. I don't know if I say a while because I don't know if they still offer this. It's like a little chest that you can buy, and when you open it up, in it you can store your DMC floss. And then they had this cute design that you could stitch to go on the front. and you could put your initials on it. That was really cute. I hope you enjoyed looking at Cross Stitch and Needlework Magazine, and I look forward to showing you another issue of the magazine. Go ahead and leave your comments below.